Welcome to Date Night with the Dialogue Wheel, starring Chachi Bobinks.
Off with their heads!
Tyler, whatever just happened to her was some sort of late-life sexual awakening, and Evan.
Is this real life?
Enjoy the show.
Hey, everybody! Boy, is it good to be back. We have been gone for, 2 weeks? 2 weeks without recording anything at all. Without having a group conversation.
Or was it 3?
I don't know. Almost 3 weeks.
What is time anymore?
Who are people?
Is this real life?
Or is this...
No, I'm
What year is it? Tell me, who is the king of Ferelden?
It's me, Chachi Bobinks.
Wait, you're the king?
Yeah, I'm king, I'm queen, all of the above.
And guillotine.
And guillotine. You know what? That's fitting for my ruling style. So we've got some questions to start us off this week. We've had some questions that were submitted to us a couple weeks ago that just been kind of festering in the pots, waiting to be answered.
Festering or stewing? I'd prefer stewing.
I like festering.
Moldering.
Moldering. Festering gives you a little bit more to, imagine. So our listeners right now are just thinking of stinky feet. And I like
And also reminds you of an uncle from the Addams Family.
Fester, that's right.
Fuck you, Fester.
Forgot about Uncle Fester.
There never was an Uncle Mulder. But there was Scully and Mulder.
Who I loved, by the way.
Oh my.
Chachi, get on topic. What are you doing with your life?
Oh no! I have no clue.
Welcome back,
Dear
everybody.
Dialogue Wheel. Shh. Dear Dialogue Wheel.
Evan, how dare you talk out of turn?
Off with their heads!
Calm down, Red Queen.
No, from what I understand, Chachi, that was your general play style, yes?
Pretty much. I thought I needed to find all of the materials that would come out as red and just make an entirely red outfit for me to wear. Because
Oh, no. I mean all of the beheadings.
This man
that's
threw
what
a
I'm talking
goat
about.
at us. Off with their heads!
Kill him! That was exactly how I
Oh, that scene glitched for me.
Too bad.
Everyone was just standing stock still in their places, and then a stock still goat bumped against the wall.
It's almost better.
It was in a way almost funnier for it, had I not been really sad that I wasn't seeing it properly. He assaulted our keep with a goat.
I have to admit, I actually did that 3 times. 3 times I did that because I was that amused.
Only
I was
3?
No, I have to see that again. I have to see that again.
I had to look it up on YouTube just so it would work right.
had
I
it
was
on-
like, I'm not going to let this slip.
Actually, I had it on repeat on the other monitor.
Really? It's so great. I don't know who at BioWare was responsible for that particular thing, but they need a big...
I wish I remembered because I saw someone post about it and how big of a deal it was and how much work someone put into getting a goat chucked at a wall for one animation.
Okay, so we've got some questions to answer, gentlemen.
Oh, we do?
If you don't mind. Yeah.
Ooh, my.
The answer is no.
Dear Dialogue Wheel, I love my job, I do, but my coworkers aren't quite desirable. I've been having a few issues with them lately. We never agree on anything. Our boss has to come in and make all the decisions because we never believe in getting anything done the same way. I'm the only man in the office and I feel singled out because of it. One of my coworkers, the PR department, spends all of her time writing or scribbling down things on paper and never really speaks to me. My other coworker is an assassin, so I don't really talk to her much. The woman who hired me seems to have a few anger issues. Should I seek new employment? Sincerely, badass motherfucker.
Well, that depends. How many beheadings have happened in this week alone?
If the lady you work for's name is Inquisitor Maheli, I would suggest you quit and relocate very quickly.
I would suggest you run as fast as you can. Go join the Avars. I hear they're cool.
Good times.
Have you considered joining a Dalish tribe? They seem like some jovial people. Very accepting, too.
I hear the beds suck, though.
Or maybe those Templars. I hear those Templars will let anybody in.
That's beautiful. I love it. All right, next question. Dear Dialogue Wheel. Oh, God. I can't believe I'm about to say this. Okay, Dear Dialogue Wheel. Fuck, marry, or give a puppy. Alistair, Dorian, or Colin. Love, Biofan. Thanks, Biofan.
All 3 to all of them.
All 3 to all of them.
Wait. Was one of those Cole?
No. Fuck
Okay,
Mary
thank
or give
God.
a puppy, and your choices are Alistair, Dorian, and Colin. I would do.
I
all
feel like
three
those
of them.
don't apply to me.
I feel like they apply. They are very relevant to my interests.
I already gave my answer.
Can't all three of us just hang out with puppies?
Nope. Well, you could. You could choose to give all three of them a puppy.
4, I should
No
say.
one's judging.
No.
4.
The 4 of us hang out with a puppy.
You could do that. I mean, I ship it.
And then I have sex with Jeff Goldblum.
Okay. You know what? This is a judgment-free zone. You can have sex with him if you want to.
Except I'm judging you right now. Excuse me, sir. He is mine.
Uh-oh.
We can share.
Throw down the gauntlet, boys. 10 paces, turn and face another.
Evan, I know that most people wouldn't be able to share effectively, but Goldblum will find a way.
Yes. Yes, he will.
I approve. Okay, next question. Dear Dialogue Wheel, one can flirt with 2 or more to start with. Yes? Sincerely, major mishap here. Yes,
I can
you
speak.
can flirt with
Yeah,
everybody.
you can flirt with everybody.
Everybody.
Can you pull the Dragon Age Origins, though, is the real question, and lead everybody along and just build a giant web of lies? Because that was one of the most intriguing parts of Origins, was where you could just straight up lie to everyone, and eventually it would all fall apart around you in realistic style.
And then they killed you in your sleep, or was that just me?
That was just
Oh.
I went in with the expectation that it would work that way, and then was very disappointed when it did not. You never got the chance to, like, at least in my playthrough. And I think it wasn't just me. I think it's the way that it's built. Because in the end, Solus dropped out. He was one of my contenders there, and it was just Blackwall and Cullen. And once I kissed Blackwall, Cullen still had romance options on there, and you could still do the dialogue choice, let's talk about a relationship, and he automatically would say, I don't want people to get the wrong idea about you, I hear that you're in a relationship. So I never got really the chance to be the player that my Inquisitor deserved to be, and I was pretty disappointed. So
Your Inquisitor was a monster.
My Inquisitor is not a monster. Her player is a monster. That's different.
Really? Really, Chachi? Not a monster?
She could not be blamed. She was a very sweet Dalish girl.
Sweet!
Wait, so what you're saying is don't hate the game, hate the player, not the other way around?
That's right. Don't hate the game, hate the player. Because I
can agree with that.
shit up. I'm honest, right? That counts for something.
Oh, great. An honest tyrant.
Honesty is such a lonely word. Everyone is so untrue.
Tyrant.
Honesty is hardly ever heard, and mostly what I need from you.
Is that a song?
I could find a lover. I could find a friend. I could have security until the bitter end. I forget the next line of this Billy Joel song, but you get the point.
Matharath's balls, can we carry on?
I like that one. That was good, Evan. By the dread wolf. Why is my podcast always such a mess when people are here?
By the dread wolf.
I love it. That's great. Okay, next question. Oh, you know what? I'm going to hold this one for last because this is a big
Ooh,
question.
can I hold it?
All right. You want to be the one who reads
Oh,
it?
no,
Is that what you
I just want to hold it and keep it warm.
You can. That's fine.
Okay.
Can I feed it pellets, Evan?
Yes, can you feed pellets? You go.
Ah.
It's so cute. Look at this question. Aww.
Oh God, it's a boy question.
Oh God, it's pooping! It's pooping! It's pooping!
Are we good now? Can we move on?
I think so.
We found out it's a boy question.
Okay. Dear Dialogue Wheel, how many tries and game restarts before you were finally happy with your Inquisitor's appearance? Sincerely, Tedzilla. Or Teddy Liza, I think is
You know-
her handle, actually.
You know,
I think it's Ted
Tedzilla.
Eliza.
She changed it to Tedzilla for the game. I think it was because I kept
Oh, did she?
mispronouncing it. Yeah.
okay.
Anyway.
I'm gonna go ahead and say this because I'm proud of myself. I'm genuinely surprised that I did not have to restart at all. I actually went into the character creator. I spent a fair amount of time making my character. And in the end, I was satisfied. Like,
Nice.
cause this was my first
Yeah.
time, at least in my, canon playthrough, where I've made it a self-insert. And,
Oh yeah.
yeah, cause all my other ones are
Yeah.
just different characters. So I'm like, I'm gonna make this, I'm gonna try to see if I can make it look like me. And I was
It did.
pleased. I was pleased with it.
Yeah.
And I did a lot of the cutscenes, and I'm like, wow, this is great. My only complaint is that for some reason, custom characters' facial hair does not connect to their face.
Did it like float above it or something or what?
It floats like a good, like, centimeter off of the skin.
Oh, I bet that's a bug. I bet that's...
Once you get used to it, it's fine, but I definitely noticed that my goatee was not attached.
But you know what? The Orlesian mask were the same thing, so I wonder if that isn't, like, a bug of some sort. Because did you notice that, like, the mask at the Orlesian ball, they all seem to just kind of hover in
Float.
the air in front of their faces?
Yeah, but that was even for a lot of the, other characters. So.
Yeah, anyone who wore a mask, pretty much.
I mean, if you've ever worn a mask, they tend to float.
You know what? My characters, both of the ones I've made so far, I ended up happy with.
I'm happy with them.
And I feel like that's mostly because I allowed myself to just kind of go with however they ended up turning out, imperfections and all. And I feel like I'm better off for that because they ended up looking a lot more interesting. Although I have to say, I ended up being a lot more happy with my second playthrough character than my first playthrough character. Because, I'm sorry, the Kunari are kind of unwieldy.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it works if you're playing as a warrior, but being a Kunari mage is just kind of awkward, and none of your clothes look like they fit, and the romance scenes are all animated awkwardly, and you have to practically break Josephine's poor back as she leans up.
Aww.
Just...
Poor thing.
You know that adorable scene from the trailer where she kicks her foot up as she kisses you? That's slightly less cute when she also has to contort her spine in a nearly impossible way just to get anywhere near your mouth.
So she looks like she's preparing a ribbon dance or something. That's funny.
Well, it's like she's trying to touch her foot to her head and do a whole big... And don't get me wrong, Josephine's still adorable. It's just I felt sorry for her having to deal with Inquisitor Raemiel Adar, 10-foot-tall, gentle giant of the Inquisition.
Makes you sad.
They even run wrong. They look like linebackers barreling at someone as they run around Skyhold, leaping off of things.
Now, here. They are linebackers.
Pretty much.
My Dalish, on the other hand, I don't think I've ever liked an RPG character of mine that I've made, with the exception of my smuggler, who my Dalish was named for, from the Old Republic. I have never immediately fell in love with one of my RPG characters as much as this guy. I essentially based him to a certain extent off that smuggler, but I really like this elf, with one caveat.
Yeah.
His hair clips through his ear, and I can't not see it.
Yeah.
It pulls me right out of the game.
Try doing that with a beard.
Oh, God. That's
a
worse.
Floating
That's somehow
beard.
Worse.
That's what it does. At certain angles, it's like, wow, this looks really great. At other angles, it's like, wow, you can see the sun. And it's just...
I'm just lucky my first character turned out alright, because I had to make him on low settings before I realized the game would let me play on high. I'm lucky he even had a face, because I couldn't tell what he looked like when I made him. It was just, here's hoping this feature doesn't look like garbage when it's turned up to people graphics.
People graphics.
Because right now, everything is shiny or incredibly dull. There is no in-between.
I got a new graphics card, so everything is generally pretty nice.
Screw you,
I
Evan.
played it on the 360, so everything kind of looked like shit, but that's okay.
Well, that's because you played it on a 360 where everything looks like shit.
I know, right? To go back to the original question, I restarted 4 times, but in the end, I wish I would have known how fate would lead my Inquisitor down the path of becoming weird looking, because it didn't matter how many times
Giant nose!
Yeah, as the game progressed, she slowly changed appearance.
Wait, what?
As the game progressed, her appearance changed, and I don't know how it happened, but she started off, and I'm gonna get a screenshot, I promise, but she started off looking exactly like an elven me. Like, she looked just like me. It was ridiculous. And then as the game progressed, like, her eye makeup slowly vanished, and then her lipstick slowly vanished, and she had, like, this natural look going on, which I kind of liked. And then her hair kind of got puffier, so it kind of looked like a beehive, like a 50s beehive. It was really cute. And then her nose got bigger, and by the end of the game, like, her nose was probably as big as it could get. So she's, like, all nose and beehive, and still beautiful, but nothing like how she looked in the beginning. I don't know how that happened.
Maybe she got stung by a bee halfway through the story, and the rest of the game was just her allergic reaction.
An allergic reaction lasting months?
Months. Yeah, she had a little bit of work
The
done.
Inquisition is around a lot of bees, okay? She jarred them herself.
That's true. Could have been the case. So she reconnected with her Earth Mama self as she murdered everybody because she was kind of a monster.
See, that's what happened.
A monster.
As you started murdering people nonsensically, you slowly started to morph into what you were
It's like
becoming,
Star
which
Wars.
is a
Evil
monster.
face.
Yes, you know, in Star Wars, as you go evil, you get uglier.
Or how in Mass Effect, as you do more shitty moves, you get cracky face.
Yes,
You get orange.
you get orange and cracky face. Oh, I wonder if that was intentional. Probably.
No.
No.
I just had a glitch game, that's all. It was amusing. One day I fired it up and I was like, who the hell is this girl on my screen? That's not my Inquisitor. What?
Speaking of glitches, we have a new maker, and it's Connor! Because both of them are equally nonsensical and confuse me to no
And
end.
even worse for me.
You know what? Let's not even talk about it too much because we don't want to. Let's just say, if you know what we're talking about, please respond in the comments with your equally angrily worded letters.
Just put a sad face.
Frickin' Redcliffe, man. I don't understand. It doesn't make sense. It wasn't.
It's all that red lyrium.
It's gonna be okay. You're not wrong.
We also have a new Damn It Anders, by the way.
Chachi, that's what happened to your face. Red lyrium.
Maybe I ate some red lyrium when no one was looking.
That's
Maybe
what
I
happens
licked it.
when you side with Templars. What?
Huh?
Hey, Chachi,
Yeah.
would our new Anders be a certain Tom Rainier?
No. There was something else I
No?
was yelling out, damn it, to somebody else who got my damn
Oh, by the Dread Wolf. What could it have been,
Dread
Chachi?
Wolf! Damn it, Dread Wolf! Yes, kind of like that, but with a different name in there.
I'm sorry, Chachi, what was that?
You guys realize that he had a canine jaw around his neck the entire time, right?
You know what's funny? I noticed it the whole game, but when that happened, I was like, what the fuck?
I didn't even notice it until, well, I mean, I guess I saw it, but it didn't register to me until that last scene, and I was like, oh, I get it.
No, here's what happened. When I first saw it, I was like, oh, it looks like a tooth. But then, after literally having him in my party for the entire game, I was like, oh, hey, it's like some sort of jaw.
That's an entire half of a wolf jaw.
Yeah. And then so-and-so happened, and I'm like, well, shit. I'm not sure how to feel about this.
In the future, we're going to do some podcasts that are going to be like character specific and whatnot. And I think
Yes.
I look forward to his podcast more than any of them because I have so many feels about that man. So many
Me too.
opinions.
Can I just say...
Let's get some Gareth David Lloyd in here to talk with
Yeah.
us about him.
He has that thing where you can pay him like $15 for like a 5-minute video. I wonder how much he would charge for a podcast because I would pay it. I would be like, okay, you got it. All the money, throw it all at him. Mortgage my house. It's cool. I want it.
I mean, for all we know, he doesn't know anything about his character, so that'd be kind of
I
awkward, though.
absolutely loved Soulless so much. And you know what one of my favorite parts of the entire game was, and it involves party banter? It was taking Iron Bull and Soulless just to hear them go back and forth about philosophy.
Oh god, the philosophy conversations in Inquisition are amazing. My Kunari was very interested in what Iron Bull had to say about Kunari society, because he essentially should have had to grow up in it, but didn't. And so he was displaced from all of that.
Yeah, because this is the story for the Kunari, they being Tal-Vashoth.
Yeah, they were born Vishoth, though.
Yeah.
So they were never... It's not that they ever left, it's that they never experienced it. And so, on the one hand, they had some common ground to start off on, but on the other hand, he also had a legitimate reason to be curious about all those societal differences. And the way Bull explains it, it's the first time I've been like, the Kunari aren't so bad.
I know.
Because he's like, well, take a bread maker in Val Royeaux and take a bread maker in, what's the name of the city? I forget it now.
I forgot.
You guys know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about, though.
Yeah.
How are their lives different? Well, they're really not. So the way a nobleman lives may be different, but the street-level guys are living the same life, if not a slightly improved one.
And besides that, the way that he explained it was, he wasn't like, say, air shock levels of, this is right, this is what you do. He just explains it to you, and he's like, yep, this is right for me.
I'm aware it's flawed, but it's no more flawed than any other system you idiots are trying out. Yeah, exactly.
So don't
He's
sneer
like,
at me.
we're not that different.
Parshara!
Oh, he didn't say that once.
Not-
I waited the entire game to hear that, and I didn't hear it.
Such a disappointment.
We have to
is-
ask him if it's hidden somewhere.
Something else makes me sad, too. For all I know, there could be an Aeroshock cameo, and I wouldn't even know it, because who's gonna pick for Bull to stay Kunari and let the Chargers die?
Right, not gonna happen. That sacrifice is way too big.
No.
So you know what? If any of you did...
Oh, can I tell you about my experience with that, by the way?
Hold on, just
when
a second.
Chachi finishes her sentence, you can.
So if any of you monsters out there chose to kill the Chargers, just saying. If any of you did that, in the comments, let us know what evil you wrought and if you got to see the Aeroshock. Because I, as a fan of the comics, I am very excited about who the Aeroshock is in the comics and would love to see him come back. No spoilers on that one, though.
Why no spoilers?
Because
we agree.
everyone,
this is a full spoiler
because
cast.
Not everyone has read the comics, though. And just like I don't want to get spoiled on the books, people don't want to get spoiled on the comics. But if you're listening to this and you haven't played the game yet, then I don't know why you're here. I'm sorry.
Just keep in mind that if you did do that, Chachi didn't even do that.
I know. If you killed them, you made a choice that even Chachi wouldn't make. And we've all decided that I make terrible
Then again,
choices
Chachi also has a crush on Krem, and so once again, it is less she makes a good decision, and more incredibly selfish Chachi bases her morality on whoever she wants to bone.
Oh my god! Is that what we're gonna go with this one? Oh my god! Actually,
Dude,
I'm sorry, what happened to Tom Rainier?
You are off my Christmas card list, sir.
That bastard was lucky.
Hey, I'm not the one who rode the beard, Chachi. You have to live with these. You have to live with these things.
Oh my god! This coming from the same person who accused me of killing all of the mages back at the Circle of Magi because of Colin.
Which you did.
Not because of Colin, though. You accused me of doing it specifically because of Colin, and I was like, I didn't know who he was.
But this time you straight up said that you executed everyone you could except for Tom Rainier.
That's correct. I did. That is exactly right. That was my boo, damn it, and I respected what he did.
Okay, that's all we wanted to hear. Anyway, so with the whole
so kind of like the mayor of that town, Crestwood, where you can at least respect what he did.
Nope.
Also, Chachi, once again, that's not as drastic of an action as you think it was.
I think it was a very drastic. Anyway, we still have some more questions before I start bringing you into the ring, son. Ding ding.
Ding ding.
Come at me, bro.
Ding 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 ding. But,
I was born for this.
I have to say this because this is kind of a complaint, and I have to say this before we get off track concerning the Iron Bull thing.
Yeah.
So you want to know what happened with me with that little decision? This just proves of how easy a decision this was. That scene glitched out so hardcore for me that I didn't hear any dialogue except for Iron Bulls. I couldn't see the ship. I couldn't see that shitty looking elf prick. I couldn't see anything else. All I saw was Iron Bull give weird facial reactions, grunt, and then say, "No, I can't do that." So I'm like, what's going on?
I was waiting for that to be a big deal where you meet the Aeroshock, and instead it's like, yeah, the Kunari sent you an elf. They don't like you. They don't care about anything. And then the Dreadnought just explodes out there doing its thing. It's like, what even?
Well,
just happened.
Speaking of Kunari, a question was posed to us wanting to know at least if we knew, and if we don't, we can try to find this out, if we knew that if you chose a Kunari and didn't give them horns, did anybody like Iron Bull react to the fact that you were a hornless Kunari?
I'd assume not, because they seem not to have the game set up to respond to visual changes, only to race and gender changes. Yeah. I think it'd be nearly impossible, because it's not like they let hornless Kunari wear helmets in this game.
Exactly.
Even though feasibly they technically could, it wouldn't work for the system they had set up. And so if they didn't have them able to wear helmets, I sincerely doubt that they acknowledge it in dialogue, because I think they tried their best to not make them work any differently, and if they had, then they would have had all sorts of other questions to answer.
Yeah.
Which is one of the issues with having things like that in lore, is it works really well when you need to explain something like why Sten didn't have horns, but then it comes back to bite you later when you do have the processing power to make people have horns, and when you can create a character that does or does not have horns, because you've already said that for them that's a big deal. So now it's like, well, crap. Ixnay on that part, guys.
I would think
it's a big deal sometimes.
Yeah. See, I would think that not having horns it would carry as much of an impact as having shaved off horns, as opposed to having full horns like Iron Bull does. So if you, because yours had shaved off horns, right?
Only partially, and that's only because I wanted the full shaved off, but I didn't like the hair that went with it.
Okay, I would think that if you had even a partially shaved off horn and nobody reacted, it's safe to assume that there were no horn-based reactions. Otherwise, somebody would have said something to, you're lop-eared or something, I don't know. There would have been some sort of insult or joke or whatever.
Why don't you respect the horns, man?
Yeah, especially since Iron Bull is a proud owner of fine horns, so I would expect...
You know what my headcanon is, by the way, for my Inquisitor's horns are shaved to the length that they are?
Horns, headcanon, I like it, what?
Well, first of all, they seem to be just positioned exactly so he can at least rest his head. And second of all, he was just freaking tired of having to buy new sheets, man.
So he can lay on one
They
side.
kept getting torn up. They kept getting torn up every time he moved even a little bit in the middle of the night. And he's like, screw it. If I'm going to be sleeping in human beds and being in all these taverns with my mercenary company, I'm going to be able to sleep properly, for Christ's sake. Sorry. Oh wait, he's an atheist. What did he even say?
I don't know.
He'd
Poop.
He'd probably
He would just say
curse.
Parshara.
But anyway.
The answer is Parshara.
Parshara, that's exactly it.
No. Because he's Vishoth, man. He doesn't know a thing.
Okay, either way, continue.
Except the Shoth.
So he shaved down one side of his horn so he could lay better, is that what you're saying?
He shaved the horns, he shaved the sharp part of the horns off.
Uh-huh.
He has dulled horns, which really just makes practical sense.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good to me.
And also is probably some sort of metaphor for his personality. He's a Kunari with the rough edges shaved off.
Aww, so he's a softie. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, throughout the entire playthrough.
I like it.
Just ask Josephine.
Okay, so here's our next question. And this comes from DJ Shepherd, who I'm glad has changed their name to DJ Shepherd because I could never get that. I don't know, I couldn't do it. Anyway,
Shepherd.
Aeschylus.
Aeschylus, that's right, thank you. Anyway, so this next question comes from DJ Shepherd. Says, what would you guys like to see in DLC and DAI? Story, features, storage, more romance, things to do. Just because we could talk about this for a really long time, we'll each just throw out one thing that we would like to see in DLC.
Good.
So, who wants to go first?
Oh, am I starting?
Yeah, sure.
Cool. Story content. We were talking about this before the cast, but I can probably say it here now, too. The great thing about DAI is for the first time it's a Dragon Age game that is really built properly in a way that makes sense for DLC to be built off of it. DAO, it was possible for your freaking character to die, so they had to work around that whole issue. Yeah. DA2, most of what they had to do in DLC was addressing the myriad fan complaints that they felt were wrong in the original game and essentially building it up to completion. And they eventually had to just abandon DLC on that game altogether and go back to the drawing board with Inquisition. Because remember, the Exalted March expansion was going to be a thing. Mm-hmm. They had to cancel an entire, not just DLC, but expansion. Yeah. They were going to have an Awakening size expansion for DA2. And they just decided we're going to spend more time on Inquisition. Inquisition, first of all, any of our niggling complaints aside, is a fully built-up game with no real gameplay issues or no giant holes that need to be filled. And also, its story ends on a smooth enough note that it's easy to build stories off of the existing story without having to make any big changes or retcons or let you make a new character to do the rest of the content. It should work very well, and you can still work out a Skyhold.
Yep.
I like it.
So yeah, more story, please.
Well, I can't use that now.
Okay, specifically, I want to see some DLC where we get to go out and kick ass with Iron Bull and the Chargers. And that's not just because I'm a Crim fan. That's because...
What if they're dead, though, Chachi?
Then those monsters don't get DLC. They can go screw off and play a different video game that day. Fuck them. That's
a Sebastian DLC where you help him kill all of the Kirkwall people.
Oh, what is wrong with you? And you say I'm a monster? Have you met yourself?
No, I'm saying Sebastian's a monster.
Yeah, he is.
Jesus Christ, did you see all of those war table missions?
I did. And I wish I would have had the option to change the response to someone just going over there and punching him in the face and be like, shut the fuck up. and walking back.
Hey, Inquisitor, help me kill all of these dumb heathens with their magi staffs. Help me fight Aveline Valen, former friend of mine, for no real reason, 'cause I'm just that much of a prick.
I wish you could have sent Hawk to handle that one. That would have been the best way to... You know what?
Just punch him
Fuck
in
it.
the face.
I want that to be a DLC. I want instead that they will amend that part of the war table and make it to where all
Hawk
of a sudden
DLC.
you can send Hawk to go deal with him, and she can walk...
Imagine a DLC where you get to play as whoever survived that Fade mission.
Oh, that hurts me so...
But think! That means that, and again, obviously spoilers, Chachi, we need to label this the spoiler cast.
Yeah,
but,
don't worry.
alright, imagine, either you get to play as Hawk, you get to play as Taryn Loghain McTeer, you get to play as Stroud the Bushy of King Mustache, or you get to play as Alistair.
Oh my god! That would be so awesome!
I would play that
I
forever!
would never stop playing that. That would be the rest of my life.
I know!
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So it's
For
for
me,
me.
it'd be more Hawk, and that in and of itself would be
God, I
amazing.
want to be Hawk again so bad. Did I tell you? Can I just derail for half a second to tell you?
I've been doing it this entire time, so
Oh.
I can't fault you
I
for
can
it.
People
jump on
are
now.
used to this, Chachi.
My
Oh my.
hello, my Hawk, my actual canon Hawk, and we've talked about this before. My canon Hawk is the renegade mage who went with Anders and just bought all of his rhetoric and his manifestos and just ran off with him, right? Like she was all into
Yeah,
that shit.
blow up all the chantries!
Sure, why not? Let's do it, dude. So, but her appearance, because I made her not knowing what was going to happen in the game, so
right.
she was my first playthrough. She was very conservative. She had, red hair pinned back in a bun and, neat makeup, and she was very pretty and very nice. And
I remember you telling me this, and it's awesome.
So when I went into Character Creator, I started to make her look exactly like Hawk did, right? And then I just went, fuck it. And I gave her the punk hair and, the blood splashes around her eyes. And so she looked just like my Hawk, but badass renegade cray-cray. It was so awesome.
I love it so much.
I was not aware of this. I need pics or it didn't happen.
I gotta be honest, my Hawk was a hot mess. His nose and mouth were travesties. I tried to build him up from memory without even looking at a reference picture. I did not succeed. It was not mission accomplished for me.
This one will make Chachi happy. I made my Hawk and it was pretty much exactly the same, except for one minor accidental giant freckles.
Oh, yeah.
I accidentally gave my Hawk a bunch of freckles. So he looked exactly the same, but it just looked like he, just has some sort of minor melanoma on the face.
Evan, I just remembered something.
What?
What?
Sinead Hawk.
Oh, God.
Imagine how that would turn out in Inquisition.
God.
You might need to do that.
Well, I mean,
that's
where the second playthrough is for.
Okay. Let's do our last question really fast. Just
Is
because
this the
I
one
feel
that I
like
was holding on
is-
to?
Yeah, this is the one that
All right,
you've
here you
been
go.
lovingly holding. Oh, thank you. Oh, she's all warm too.
You only know you love
Yeah,
it when
she
you let
is.
it go.
And you let it go. Dear Dialogue Wheel. Oh, God. Just go. Okay, this is the biggest, heaviest question we've ever had to answer, I think. So just guess who it's by. Just throw a name out there. Guess.
Okay.
Alex Dunn?
Yes.
I'm so good at guessing.
You're so good at this. Okay, dear Dialogue Wheel, if I am to assume our next episode is the DIA spoilery recap, which you did correctly, ding, 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 I only have one simple question. What choice did you make that was the hardest / most painful?
Evan, would you like to go first?
I'm gonna cry in the corner now.
I hate everyone. The hardest decision for me had to be whether or not to save
you.
Hawk or save Stroud.
And which
And-
decision did you make?
I grabbed them both by the collar and rushed them out.
I'm no liar.
I
Liar.
left Hawk behind to have an eternal battle with a giant spider fear demon.
That
So
just makes it hurt so
yeah.
bad. in my soul.
And that decision alone caused me to turn off the game, go play about 15 rounds of different games, and then just sleep.
I guess I'd say my hardest decision, honestly, was probably Tom Rainier. It was probably Blackwall, because that was probably the one that, honestly, out of all the scenes in the game, for some reason, that was one of the ones that hit me the hardest. Because when I saw that Blackwall was going to that hanging, I was like, oh, okay, I get it. He couldn't stop the cat from hanging, so now he's gonna stop this guy from hanging because he knows he's innocent. And then he's like, you can't condemn this man. He's just a soldier. Yeah, I get it, Blackwall. You're a nice guy. Just chill. I gave the what?
Huh?
Yes.
Me
too.
So that was also my hardest decision. And at that exact moment when he said that, like, I was feeling the panic welling up. And the funny thing is, I love all of my friends on Twitter. I love you all so much. That as I was getting there,
but
we all knew what was going on. So I tweet, oh shit, and they're like, she must have gotten to the Blackwall part. Yeah, that's what happened. But when that happened, Tyler, when he was like, I gave the order, I dropped the controller, and I don't think it ever recovered exactly. I dropped the controller and yelled, "God, motherfucker, no!" God, so mad.
I'm so happy you romanced Blackwall, Chachi. You have no idea.
And then I DM you immediately after and say that I hate you for setting me up to this, because I wouldn't even thought about him twice if not for you being like, I think you should romance him, Chachi. And I was
Wait
like, yeah,
a minute.
I agree.
Tyler.
Well, yeah, that and the fact that you thought that the second you heard his voice and saw his beardy face. Lying liar.
How lost did you get in that beard, Chachi?
I got lost for days. I'm still in there. I haven't left yet.
I wish they had put the gray streaks in there, because how epic would he have looked with the gray streaks in his beard?
Oh, God.
Chachi, what was that? I wasn't ready for that reaction.
I'm sorry. Are we still podcasting?
Hey, Chachi, I had the same reaction.
Fist bump. Bam!
Also, don't you dare edit that out, because that was podcast gold.
I think we just killed Chachi.
What do you mean, we?
I think you just killed Chachi.
Oh, no. Okay, I'm good.
Chachi, what was your hardest decision?
That was my
She just said that. Weren't you listening?
What's your second hardest decision?
Tom Rainier.
I mean, everything about that just left me so... I mean, okay, so then my second hardest my hardest decision would be when I had to judge him. Because he went forward and, oh my God, it was so heartbreaking. He's sitting there and he's this broken
I think
man.
that was the decision, though,
And
right?
like, no, well...
That's the actual decision part of the decision.
Well, there were two decisions in there, though. The first decision was, are you going to...
There were?
Let him
let him out,
out
right.
of jail at all. Exactly. And so then the second decision is, what are you going to do with him now that you did let him out of jail? And letting him out of jail was hard enough. But it was Cullen who talked me into doing it. Because, you go and you talk to him, and he's like, what he did was wrong, blah, blah, blah. But also, he did all these really good things for us.
But also that beard, though.
Oh, also, Grey Warden treaties are a problem now.
Exactly, and so, because of Colin, I decided to go ahead and spring him, and then we get to the judgment, and he's standing there, and he's so broken, and he's, hunched over, and he won't even look at you, because he feels like your correct decision would be to execute him, and so my Inquisitor had to say no, and had to say, I'm not gonna lose you again.
He looks so sad.
And he looks up, snap, looks up, what? And yeah, anyway, I seem to remember him trying to talk his way back out of it. I'm like, no, you're not going to die.
I'm ready for an end.
Right? Oh, so painful, but it's beautiful. If you do the Blackwall romance, everything that happens after you choose to, as I did, I decided to give him to the Grey Wardens, because I felt that he needed to make up for what he did, and also kind of reward him, I guess, for being such an awesome fake Grey Warden. I don't know. I guess I am the worst person ever, aren't I?
Yeah, also, I feel like I should say that Ramil, I believe in second chances. Adar was all like, you know what? Your punishment is to keep fighting at my side, and you'll redeem yourself and come out the other side a better man.
And if not, off with your head!
No, my Inquisitor was very much a sunshine and bunnies kind of guy. Not gonna lie.
There was only one, I will admit, and you admit the same thing, there was only one execution throughout the entire playthrough.
Oh yeah, I did that too.
Yeah, I did that.
But I forget who it was now.
Quiet, Chachi.
Sorry.
Evan, remind me, who did we kill?
I forget his name, but he was the one who corrupted the Grey Wardens in the first place. What was his name?
Oh yeah, that douchebag.
that
I cut his head
Yeah,
clean off.
That motherfucker.
Clean off.
I
I
did,
wanted
like,
to kill him myself.
at least
Myself. I took the sword myself.
At least with the other decisions, it was like, let me think about this. Okay, this is how I feel. With him, it was just like, oh, hey, you, give me my sword. And I sliced up and said,
Bring me my broadsword.
I specifically avoided that.
Thank you for including Jethro Tull in here. We couldn't have gone a whole podcast.
Every day.
That's right.
Now it's stuck in my head.
Micah, no.
Oh,
Connor!
Connor!
Steve!
I'm okay, Shepard. You sure?
Micah, Steve! Yes, Connor?
God.
And so now we can just dissolve into talking about whatever the heck we want to talk about for the next few minutes here.
I don't know. I mean, we're at 45 minutes. That works pretty freaking well.
45 minutes and 18 seconds, good sir.
Thanks, every Orlesian my Kunari was unfortunate enough to encounter.
Oh, Orlay, yes.
They were pricks!
And I
you know what?
fucking loved it.
You know what? Yeah.
Yep.
In the beginning,
Every minute of it.
Every minute of it. I loved every minute of those shitheads.
That's right.
Because you know what? I redid literally the entire Winter Palace quest.
Yeah,
I did
I know,
the whole
you
thing,
did.
got through to the end, and ended up having to fight the boss, realized it could have gone differently, restarted the entire thing from the top.
I remember
did
that.
the whole thing
Remember
over
that?
again. And then at the end, I actually managed to get all three of them to agree with one another and work together for the betterment of Orlais. And I
props
felt
to you.
so incredibly rewarded by that. I was like, all right, I really feel like I put in the effort and got the greatest, like, I got to call all three of them out on their bull. Here's how it worked. Here was the formula. One of them snarks at the other two, and I'm like, actually, you ain't perfect. That was the first one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then, one of the other ones is like, yeah, that's right, she does suck. And I'm like, oh, you want to talk? Well, guess what you did that's dumb? And then the third one is like, yeah, you guys both suck. And I'm like, you listen here, lady. You also are an idiot. And then all three of them were like, yeah, you're right. And I was like, so what if y'all just chilled and made a better country together? Also, you two, just hook up already. Make this a thing again. It's the whole time apart thing isn't working for you. You've been giving us side glances through your masks this entire time. Not fooling anybody.
You ain't fooling no one. That was an interesting night, by the way.
Also, can we just say that Celine's voice was kind of goofy?
It was. I
It
wasn't
was
as
so
much of a fan as I wanted to be.
Right, I was ready for Celine to be I assumed that they would get the best French voice they could find for Celine, and honestly, I think that the same person who voices Celine voices like 20 other minor Orlesian nobles, and I was like, well, I kind of thought this role was a big deal. But, wow.
I did like that it was kind of...
Josephine's sister was adorable, though.
Yeah, before we move off of Celine, I did think it was kind of whimsical, and I liked that. Like, I liked her having a little bit more whimsy to her tone. But yeah, I wasn't a fan of it. And you know what? I thought it was...
To an extent, it made sense, though.
Yeah, it did, exactly. She seems weak and fanciful and, you know...
Yeah, she's supposed to have an affected, emotionless, cool, bright kind of tone, because that's her entire character. She's supposed to be, like, in control and not showing any emotions.
Exactly.
That said, you guys didn't romance Josie, and so I feel like I get to brighten your day by sharing this with you.
Okay.
If you're romancing Josie, her sister asks if it's true that the two of you are going to, let me see if I remember this correctly, run off to the Anderfells. It's something like join the Grey Wardens and go off and hunt Darkspawn together and elope. And my warden was, and my Inquisitor was just like, I've already packed our bags, haven't I, dear? And Josie was like, do not encourage her.
Every single interaction with the Monteliers is just, and Yvette.
That's because Josie is precious. One of my favorite scenes in the entire game is when Josie explains to you why she detests killing so much, and the fact that I did not see her bardic past coming at all, by the way.
Yeah?
Yeah,
which is apparently the second time we've been blindsided by someone being an assassin. But I was like, how did I not see that coming? She's Liliana's friend. But the fact that she's killed someone once, and that the fact that they can make that feel impactful in a game where you kill hundreds of people over the course of a playthrough stands as a testament to how well Josie is written as a pacifist. Exactly. Where she talks about how she pulled off the mask, and of course it's, someone she's met before. They're all at the same couple parties. And just the immense sense of waste of how pointless the entire system was, and how easily avoidable it was, and how no one had anything to gain from it. And it's like, this is why I agree with you all the time on the war table, Josephine. Mm-hmm. This is why we are romancing one another, is because we are the only two sane people who realize mowing everyone else down is not the solution. Yeah. Sorry, Chachi.
It's okay. I know what I am.
Most of my war table interactions involved me looking at them all and saying, no.
I know what I am. That's beautiful.
I sided with Colin on almost
Of course you did.
Oh, you don't say, Chachi.
I'm sorry. And you know what happens if you do that? All those Grey Wardens that you recruit, they're kind of gone by the end. Because I was like, okay,
well, no, because I used Cullen for all the... because at the end I got a message where they're like, our casualties are too great, so we're pulling out now. Glad we could be of help, you prick. I got that too. Because I was like, I have this awesome military force. I'm going to have them fight stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I almost never did military things, ever, on the war table.
I mean, I utilize all three, just because it makes no sense not to. But when it comes to the slightly bigger stuff, I never was like, let's invade and punch people. I was like, let's sit them down for talks.
It's funny because everything I did on the war table was either, negotiations with Josephine or, sneaky stuff with Liliana. And then the only stuff that I ever really did with Cullen was essentially escort missions.
Frankly, I never felt that those were too impactful, and I expected to feel like I was going to be constantly choosing and making decisions as to how I wanted to handle situations, and seeing the outcomes be drastically different, and that kind of wasn't the case. That said, most of the time when I was sending Cullen in, it was so our soldiers could be used as a force for literally building things. Like, it'd be a mission where our options were, ask someone else to build you a bridge, have your people build a bridge. I'm gonna have my people build a bridge, because then they're not out killing people, and they're doing something productive with their time. So my army, more than anything else, was used as a positive force in Thetis, which I felt good about.
Escorts and community service.
Exactly.
That's basically
keeping people safe and building community. Beautiful.
One place at a time.
The more you know.
The Inquisition, what a show. The Inquisition. I know I got the actual tune of that song incorrect because I haven't heard that in forever. So please don't hate me, people listening right now.
I can't hate you because you made the joke anyway.
But the Inquisition's here, and it's here to stay.
That's right.
For now.
Oh,
until it splints off into two different organizations.
Until we need to make another game and we don't want to have to address the fact that you made an Inquisitor at some point. And then the Inquisition will they'll all go to Weishaupt to investigate something. and mysteriously disappear into a giant sinkhole or something. I'm sorry, literally all of the thousands of Inquisition soldiers and agents went to Weishaupt to talk to one Grey Warden, and now we don't know where they are. We kind of lost track of them somewhere out there. They're looking for a cure to the blight and to the calling, and so they're just away. They're just away on business. You know how it is.
But hey, we're going to space now.
Also, I like how Hawk just leaves his best friend in love behind. Meryl was off doing something with some elves, and so I figured she might as well do that elfy crap away from me. Whatevs.
You know what? I liked what she said about Anders, because of course mine were madly in love, Hawk and Anders. She talked about Anders, and she's like, yeah, he's doing good. He's just staying at home relaxing right now. And I was like, I like this. I like that he is like the house husband.
What?
And maybe he like cooks bread.
He's just chilling?
He's just kicking back, and he's like, I'm really proud of myself.
Let me get this straight.
The
The founder of the Mage Rebellion
well,
is just kicking back somewhere.
while the world
They
is
didn't make
being-
it so that they didn't make it so he actually stayed an active member of his cause once his cause became a thing. So what you're saying is Anders is a giant prick.
No.
You know what?
That's what I heard.
You know what? I actually, now I prefer what I heard from my from my Hawk, which was, hey, where's Anders? I don't know. Yours, he's like, oh, he's sitting at home, chillaxing, having a margarita. Mine's just like,
Yeah,
jackass
he's
is
drinking
somewhere
tea
else.
and not at all making up for the consequences of his actions, like I was told he was going to be doing for the rest of his
And
life
you know
when I
what?
saved it.
I wouldn't even have wanted him to like make up for his actions. I would have been fine if he was leading the damn rebellion.
Exactly. I was hoping that he'd go off and make majory happen. Question for those of us who aren't monsters and pick the right side.
You.
Wasn't Alexius kind of a sympathetic character?
Yes, very much
I
so.
felt so bad for him.
I still hated everything that he did, of course.
No, he made awful decisions,
But
he didn't even try and justify it in the end. Like, he was like, I know, I'm an idiot, everything was dumb and wrong, I just really love my son, and he's unwell, and I can't handle
shit,
that.
he's
I'm
unwell.
sorry.
The blight'll
I'm
do
sorry.
that to you.
I'm really sorry. I feel
know.
bad, but,
He was a really good character. Like,
especially because when you talk to Dorian more, Alexius only even became as crazy as he is. I mean, not even crazy, but as stereotypically Tevinter as he is after his wife died. Because Alexius is only the way he is after losing literally everything that he loves.
Mm-hmm.
Because he apparently was every bit, if not more, idealistic than Dorian. Which is saying something. And so it's tragic to see someone like that fall so far because he loses everything he loves. It's hard not to feel for him. Which is why, I don't know what you judged him to do, Evan, but I just had him essentially do clerical work for the mages.
that actually probably is better than what I did. I still
What'd you
felt
do?
he needed punishment for what he did, as he did too. So I just essentially threw him in the cells and kept him there.
At least you didn't make him tranquil like a douche.
I would never make anybody tranquil.
Right?
I might as well just cut their head off.
By the way, Chachi, no spoilers for the mage quest for you that are too specific, because I know you still want to play through it, but have you seen X-Men Days of Future Past?
No.
Oh.
Because it's basically X-Men Days of
Yes.
Future Past.
Oh, okay. Well, I haven't seen it, so.
And it's awesome.
Yes. That entire mission, by the way,
It's basically
yeah,
Terminator.
Going to the whole blowing my mind thing, it blew my mind because I'm like, this is awesome. And you know what I loved about it too? Besides the fact that it was awesome, depending on who you took, in your party,
Oh, yeah, I know. The conversations were entirely different.
the conversations and the people were just all different.
And you get to see your party members just completely despondent and shattered in a way I thought was very well
Who did
written,
you take?
by the way.
Out of curiosity.
I took different people each time. The first time I think I had Varric and Blackwall.
Mm-hmm.
And then just last night, actually, was it this morning? Was it earlier today I was playing this? One of those two. I had Cassandra and Solus with me.
I took
Because so far I've actually,
because that's
so
almost
far I've
always my
actually
party.
been running, with the second playthrough, I've been taking the starter party of Varric, Cassandra, and Solus, and it turns out I actually really like that combo, and it works for a two-handed warrior very well.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Also, I need Cass with me for this playthrough. Because I think the great thing about this character is, of course, he'll romance Cassandra, because there's nothing he likes more than having a woman who is literally just fighting right there at his side and hitting things with him.
That's hot.
Yeah, it kind of is.
I mean, it gets
You
me.
guys, let's be honest, guys. You've seen my Dalish elf. Picturing him and Cassandra together, no one's losing in that fight. It doesn't matter what you're picturing. There is no negative part of that
They
image.
probably both have a great butt.
You're probably right.
I know Cass does. I can only
Yeah.
imagine what yours. Just imagine it. Just imagine it.
It's all pale but firm. And
I
where
have
were
to
we?
derail you
What?
for just a second.
No, we're imagining
I
things.
have to derail you for a very important announcement that everyone tomorrow will already know, but we do not right now.
Oh.
Dragon Age Inquisition just won the Game of the Year and Best RPG at Games Awards tonight.
Yes! Game of the year?
Yep.
Game of the year,
Game
yes.
of the Year, and every single bit of that is earned thoroughly. This just goes to show that when you are a passionate game dev who makes things that people love, and you care about the people who play them, and you do good things, and you are inclusive and whatever, it
And creme.
and creme, yeah, it adds up to victories. I'm just saying, this is not only, I think that them winning Game of the Year is not only something that was earned in work, but also earned in passion and earned in fucking karma. Just saying. So.
And you know what? Let's hope that that's the first of many Game of the Year
needs to be the
awards
first
for
of
Dragon
many.
Age.
Yeah.
Hey, give it a few more and we'll get it Game of the Decade.
Game of Forever.
Game of
No,
the
because
Century.
let's hope that within this decade a better Dragon Age game comes out.
Because they do just get better with time.
One where you are actually in the game.
I'm telling you, the first time that they come up with
Virtual reality Dragon
Yes.
Age?
yeah, Dragon Age
Imagine
for
it.
Oculus, I will just
No, not Oculus.
away.
Virtual
Yes.
reality, like straight up inside.
Yes, okay, that's fine.
Wink.
I'll do that. Let's wrap this up. Another congratulations to Dragon Age for winning all the things. You deserve them all.
Win more things.
Win more things. Why not?
Mike.
You deserve it.
Make more.
So a quick talk about the future here. We kind of just wanted to have this podcast tonight as a way for us to fan it out randomly and appropriately, because we haven't, like we said at the beginning, we haven't really gotten to talk to each other for the last almost 3 weeks now. So we had to kind of go off the record, I guess. But our future podcasts are going to be pretty structured. We are hoping to get some, what are you hawing about?
Nothing.
We are hoping to get a good amount of people from BioWare joining us for talks about the industry. We are wanting to talk about characters, try to get us some voice actors to join us. So if any of you...
Whoa.
I know. So if any of you have requests, people that you'd like to hear us talk to, we have gotten some so far. Like, the Weeks are pretty in demand right now. Alan Schumacher is pretty in demand right now. I think a couple of people threw out Mike Laidlaw. And any of you have requests, things that you want to hear, things that you want us to do, please let us know. We are here for you more than we're here for ourselves sometimes, I think. So, yeah, there you go.
We're always here.
I think that's we're always here. Right.
always right behind you.
Anyway. All right. Say goodnight.
Goodbye, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
I miss you already.
I should go.
I never left.
This podcast was brought to you by thedialoguewheel.com and Patreons like you. Follow us on Twitter at DialogueWheel, on the web at thedialoguewheel.com, or in traffic if you're creepy like that. Thanks for joining us.